Is it possible for aliens and humans to coexist together in a peaceful society? This episode sets up what would be later explored in a truly great episode of Roswell Conspiracies. We meet Lobo, a seemingly friendly lycanthrope who tells Shalane what she wants to hear. This episode is also the first time we are introduced to vampires. Roswell Conspiracies isn't a show that starts off weak, but gets better as it goes on. It starts off strong and gets truly remarkable the longer it goes on. All I need to say to convince you of this is, a vampire wants to nuke Silicon Valley. The episode starts off with people enjoying a party in a Briarwood resort, but then a bunch of terrorists attack them with smoke bombs and guns. Most of the guests at the party were captured, and all hope seemed lost. However, a man snuck in and attacked the terrorists. His heroic actions allowed all but 2 hostages to escape. Nick and Shalane watch this happen in the news, and they convince Whitaker to try to find this man, whom they know is in actuality a lycanthrope. Of course, that's not the only reason they are going to Briarwood. The terrorists are also lycanthropes, and Whitaker wants them taken care of. Nick and Shalane are cruising through Briarwood on an Alliance flying bike, but Nick is knocked off by the same lycanthrope they were trying to find. After they resolve knocking Nick off his bike because it wasn't safe, Shalane and...
Name is Lobo, by the way.
Lobo. Of course.
get to talking and realize that they both want peace with aliens and humans. Nick does not trust Lobo, even though he was the one advocating for him to join the Alliance. But to be fair, Nick doesn't trust anyone. He has his own plan, which is to attack the terrorists head-on, but he has some trouble with that. Meanwhile, Shalane and Lobo sneak in using the chaos Nick caused. Nick is believed to be dead by the lycanthropes, and they laugh maniacally.
I suspect you shall enjoy yourselves.
That's really funny out of context. Nick calls Shalane on her comm, and Lobo is shocked that Nick is alive. Lobo and Shalane tell him to meet them in the library. For some reason, Lobo deliberately stalled getting into the library. Even though Nick had already gone in, it turns out Lobo was actually working with the terrorist lycanthropes, and they plan to ambush Nick in the library while Lobo would take out Shalane. Fortunately for Nick, Star Team Alliance missile ships helped him take out some lycanthrope. And fortunately for Shalane, Nick helped her take out Lobo. They then saved the last of the hostages. When there is confirmation that the hostages are safe, Whitaker orders Trueblood to destroy the entire resort. Trueblood hesitates because Nick and Shalane were still inside, but Whitaker reminds him that they are fighting a war. The Alliance are always willing to sacrifice agents and even innocent lives to stop the alien threat, and this dynamic with the main characters and their organization, who is more than willing to sacrifice them if it means putting a dent in their enemies, makes them watch their backs, even when in the presence of their allies. The entire resort explodes, but Nick and Shalane actually went underground into a secret missile base because Cracker traced a call from one of the lycanthropes, revealing they were working for someone. And that person was Verhoeven, a billionaire at war with Intracom for control over Silicon Valley.
I'd expect from a vampire.
So, my information was correct. You could expose me. This makes you dangerous, Mr. Logan. I'll deal with you in a moment. For now, goodbye, Silicon Valley and Intracom.
They confront Verhoeven, who is a vampire. This is our first formal introduction to vampires, and we'll see much more of them in the series. Verhoeven reveals his plan, which is hiring lycanthropes to take hostages, then Lobo saving them to get the attention of the Alliance, will then destroy all evidence that Vancouver was ever involved in nuking Silicon Valley and destroying Intracom. The only flaw in his plan was Nick, Logan, and Shalane finding his base. He tried to correct this flaw, but Nick managed to fight and defeat him. Then he stopped the missiles from reaching Silicon Valley. The base is destroyed and the sun shines through, and this gives Fitz the opportunity to make a deal with the vampire.
Thanks for leaving the door open. You certainly made a mess for me to clean up.
I heard you were good.
You heard right. Yo, vampire, what say you and I make a deal?
We learned later that this deal was to rebuild Briarwood and to retire from the business world. There's really not much to say about this episode. I like the strong introduction to vampires and the fact that he wanted to nuke Silicon Valley. But other than that, Lobo is just taken out halfway through the episode, and that's kind of it. Don't get me wrong, this is a good example of a solid episode, and it's got a good story. But its impact isn't really there. But I must recap every single episode of Roswell Conspiracies for the future fans